All right. Hey, welcome. We are recording and we are live. So today we have Trudi Pavlovsky, and she is such a fantastic member of the coaching fraternity. Trudi, by the way, before I hand it over to you to introduce yourself, I must tell you, I have always heard of you as being someone who is ahead of her times. So,
Woo!
yay, and that you are. So, yeah, without any further ado, please tell us about what you do and how you do it.
Okay, well, I do a few different things. So there's two things. I mean, look, everything that I do comes from I'm passionate about training and coaching and working with people to be their best. So the two areas that I work with is mentoring and educating coaches in the Coaches Brainery, and also supporting, and this isn't just for coaches, I work with a myriad of business types, but supporting people to get online with their courses. And from a standpoint of not just teaching you how to build a course, but all of the things that come before and all of the things that support it, like niche content, opt-ins, and tech. So it's a well-rounded thing. So I think one of the big things about the work that I do is I very much believe in foundations. And if I'm not showing you the foundations and not giving you a solid base to work from, I'm setting you up to fail.
Totally.
So it really is all about the foundations, whether it's one-on-one coaching, mentoring, e-course training, whatever it is.
Yeah,
that's my jam.
Cool. Yeah, and I really love the point. You're already giving me fodder for my next question, which is based on foundations. So tell us a little bit about your story, how it all began, and did you always know right from the beginning you need a solid foundation, or did you try to build a mountain, build the top right in the beginning and then failed? What's your story been like?
Well, I think when it comes to foundations, my background was retail. So I started working, my first job was working in a photo lab when I was in year 10 on the school holidays. So with that, the foundational skills, even from there, you always started at the most simple point and you built up from it. You didn't do the fancy stuff first. And even in my career, starting as casual, working up to full-time, second in charge, store manager, operations manager, national sales manager. Like even there, that's a process. You layer in the knowledge.
Yeah.
You can't just go, I've never worked a day in retail in my life, but guess what? I'm going to be the national sales manager. Never sold a thing before. Like it doesn't work that way.
Totally.
But what happened in online, and I've seen it, people have come from nowhere, wanted to go for the big, bright, shiny object, little experience. They want to sell the 5K packages, and they might actually do it if they've got somebody behind push. But what happens, everything just falls down because they don't have the skills, they don't have the knowledge, they don't have the back end sorted to support what they want to do up here.
Yeah.
And I've seen people come crashing down, and I've also seen the gap in a lot of trainings that are out there. New coaches, they're taught one simple system and they're told, go out there and start a coaching practice, but it doesn't happen that way. So I mean, I don't know if it was dumb luck, if it was just unconscious modeling from my retail career, or what happened for me. And I've been very lucky. I've always met the right mentor at the right time. But one of my very first mentors, when I decided to step out of working in retail, one of the things he taught me was foundations are the building blocks of success. So, we worked on the foundations, and this was from speaking and experiential games training as well as business. But without those foundations, without those key distinctions, and without having the right team around me to actually teach me those foundations, there's no way I would be where I am now.
Sure.
No way. I would have got hey, I want to be this, blah, because I want to be famous. I want everyone to know my name. I want everyone in the world to love me. But I can't do that if I don't have those things in place. So
yeah,
that's why I've ended up doing what I do with the people that I do it with. I probably could be making a lot more money going for a higher end marketplace,
yep.
but I'm just so passionate about foundations and good solid starts. So yeah, that's kind of where I am now.
Yeah, I think thanks for that, that background and that story. And, I think you can really share with us a golden nugget, or maybe even three, on, like the coaching industry, exactly as you said, is so vulnerable. Like new coaches are so vulnerable, and they are very highly likely to, fall prey to the temptation of building their empire fast. What would be your 3-step ultimate strategy for them to just reflect and take a step back, and where can they begin, or how can they resist the temptation?
Well, look, I mean, there's always going to be a small percentage of people that can just go for it and do it and be amazing and have massive businesses really, really quickly.
Yep.
For the rest of us, foundations, let's look at those. One of the biggest mistakes I made was not implementing a bookkeeping system sooner.
Okay.
Because there was a lot of unconscious hold back because my money wasn't being managed. So how can you welcome in more money if you're not confident with the money that you're already getting?
Yep.
Another thing is looking at where you as an individual have come from. My growing up we were the poor kids. We were challenged. We didn't have all the new shiny toy things. I watched my mum. She had to work ridiculously hard to feed and clothe 3 kids because dad was gone. So what are your money stories before you even start? What are your belief stories about who you are?
Yeah.
It's not a matter of going, oh, I've got a coaching certificate now, cool, let's go. It's like you have to keep working on who you are so you can level up.
Yeah.
So always be looking for ways to continue your own healing process as well. If you want to be, and this is my opinion, but if you want to really grow a steady, solid coaching practice, you do need to be continually working on yourself. Because for every new level that you hit, there's going to be a new, people know them as upper limits, I call them maladaptive schemas. There's going to be a new level that you have to work through. Even Denise Duffield-Thomas is consistently working on herself, and she's got a multi-million dollar business.
Yep.
And then the third thing is get yourself a coach or a mentor.
I love it.
To support you. Honestly, when I don't have somebody in my corner who's actually on my corner, make sure you get somebody who has the best intention for you, because not every coach and mentor out there is created equally. I've learned that the hard way myself.
Yep.
But having that person there as a sounding board, a role model, will actually improve your growth and increase your growth as well. So they're probably my 3 things that I wish I had have also done a little bit sooner as well in some of those areas. And then there's little breakdowns that come from those areas too.
Yeah, so I mean, I was just taking some notes because I'm just loving what you're giving us, because it's so real. It's not, So the first thing was bookkeeping, and what I'm getting out of this is not only specifically for bookkeeping, but get an expert. In whichever area you lack expertise, so that you can focus on your core strengths. And like
if you're an accountant, you probably don't need a bookkeeper. But
yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah, totally. And work on your origins, like reflect back on what your money story has been like, where your money beliefs have come from, and work your way upwards. I put out a post and
even just your beliefs about yourself as a human being as well. Like money was an example in there, but look where you've come from to see where you can go.
Yeah.
And how fast you can get there.
Yeah, and it's like I heard this in a podcast interview a couple of days ago, which was talking about the law of attraction and the law of action. They both have to go hand in hand. So a lot of people are taking massive action, but deep down inside, they don't believe that they can actually make the money, and that's why they're not there. So yeah, both go very hand in hand. And you talked about certification. Like in my sales conversations, I actually upfront tell my clients, like, if you want a certificate, I have none. Like, I've done tons of education, I've done tons of classes, and I've attended these courses, and I'm working on becoming that person myself, and I know I can impart that education to you. I've just not taken the effort of completing a knowledge paper, because
I look at it,
there
needs, if you've done the study and that, like I've got certifications and courses, and I've done heaps of courses as well. I think if you're coaching and training from where you're experienced, so if you've never set up a business, don't go out and be a business coach.
Yeah,
that's not congruent.
Yeah, totally.
I used to work with teenagers who were challenged and traumatized. I was a challenged and traumatized teen. I'm confident working in that area. So if you're setting up a coaching practice, look at your strengths and what you're good at. Don't just go for the thing that is potentially going to pay you the money, which a lot of people do as well.
Yeah.
It drives me insane, because that's what sets the coaching industry backwards. People coaching in areas they have no right to be coaching in.
Totally.
And I will fight people on that to the death.
Yeah, and I just love it that you're bringing such awesome things to the table today. Which was nothing less than this was expected, of course. So in choosing your niche, so yes, like theoretically we are taught to choose a profitable niche, but a niche becomes profitable when we can couple it with our experience, with our passion, and our story, right? So I just love what you just said. Like, think of your experience, how you can add value to that market, and think of, a real problem that they have that you can solve, and then it becomes a profitable niche.
I wouldn't coach mothers of newborn babies. I've not had a baby. Why would I do that? Like, I can work with teens because I was a teenager once, which was something somebody challenged me once. You're not a mother. How can you work with teenagers? How can you tell us mothers what to do? I'm like, well, I was a teenager once, and I was the teenager with this problem. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah. Beautiful.
Anyway, that's a tangent.
No, I think it's all very relevant and valid. So, what I was also wanting to, understand from you is, let's go back to, like the very beginning, and what's one moment that you can think of which was your darkest, lowest, or most painful moments, where you had to make a choice, and you made a choice to spring back, and how did you take that decision?
Is this personally or professionally?
Whichever. I leave it up to you, whichever you think.
Well, I have a personal one, which was, the dark night of the soul, where I didn't expect to wake up. I'd set myself up to die, and I did wake up. And then that was a huge choice moment of going, okay, well, I can keep doing this, I can keep destroying myself, and eventually I won't wake up, and that means everyone's won. Or I can make the choice to keep moving forward, which I did. And then professionally, a big choice I had to make was with my last business. And that was really, really challenging, because I'd worked with teenagers for 6 or 7 years. My old business, the Dream Initiative, everyone identified me as Trudi, the girl who works with teenagers. You're the Dream Initiative girl. And there was various things in there, reasons why it worked, but it didn't quite work. There was in-house bickering with my partner, who was my business partner. We had mentors that didn't really have our best interests at heart. We spent a little bit too long. When I had originally talked about not doing it anymore, people would turn around and say, the kids need you. So there was a whole layers of guilt around letting people down. There was the shame of not being able to make a business work. There was the I should just quit. There was all of that mental beat up going on. And when I finally made the decision to go, you know what? I don't want to do it on my own. My former business partner has gone on to other things. I've healed what I've needed to heal within myself through this business.
Yep.
it's time to stop now. That was an 18-month process. It really should have been think about it for a week and let it go. But I had too many other people buzzing in my ear, putting their 2 cents worth in on something that ultimately was my choice. And meaning well, and this is the thing that you have to be aware of, people mean well when they tell you what they think you should do.
Yeah.
And these, family, friends, but you've spent so much money on it. You've invested so much time. You have 12 crates worth of costumes in your garage. What are you going to do with those? So be careful about taking on board what everybody else says, who you should be, what you owe the world, what you need to do. Those decisions do need to come from you. And I took 18 months too long to make that decision. But it's okay, because I'm in a good place now.
Yeah, I think, you traveled the journey that you had to, and, So you could actually, fight with yourself about taking too long, or just, enjoy the decision like you're doing right now.
Yeah.
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 Wow.
You need to trust yourself, and you've got to make, and this is in business in general anyway, you've got to make decisions and take action faster. If something's not working, don't get emotionally entangled in it and emotionally involved. You are not your work. Your identity is not your work. You are a person. Your business is a separate entity to you.
Yeah.
Biggest lesson I had to learn was that I am not the Dream Initiative.
Yeah.
I had a business called the Dream Initiative. I'm Trudi Pavlovsky.
Yeah.
So there's a big lesson in that for everybody.
Yeah, totally.
Let go fast.
Totally.
If you need to.
And Trudi, I'd really like to thank you. I had not imagined, I think of you as a very strong, very powerful character, very, very strong woman. And, the fact that you shared with us right now, you had actually set yourself up not to wake up the next morning. But then you found your own resilience. You found on your own strength to, pick up and run with life. What I'm thinking is, if you could just reflect back on your life and identify the top 2 or 3 themes that have always worked for you, in whatever situation you were, this is my life story, this is my cycle.
Okay. Interesting question. Let me think. Okay, so a lot of my cycle was victim up until that last time. I've been in hospital twice due to my mental health, and the third time I managed to talk my way out of not going to hospital. There's a core in me that there's obviously something in me that just will not let go, and I'm quite determined in there. So I've learned, what have I learned? Okay, probably the biggest thing is I've learned from the cycles in my life that things get better, that I have a choice. I always have a choice. And even if you don't make a choice, that's still a choice.
Yeah.
So there's always a choice. And I think I overheard a couple of different conversations through my life. I was always smart. I was always a winner. I always performed well at school, extracurricular activities, theatre and plays. And I know when I put my mind to it, I will succeed. And I had a couple of conversations that I overheard in primary school and a conversation that was repeated back to me in high school. I won an award for playing Lisa in The Sound of Music. And these people who I really respected and admired said to my mother, we can't wait to see where Trudi ends up in 10 years' time. Now, at that time, I ended up like almost dead. But 20 years' time, like from that conversation, while I haven't become an actress, I've used those skills and tools from childhood and the things that I've been passionate about to craft and create a business that I love and a life that I'm finally proud of. So I think in that there's always been that echo in my mind, Trudy's going to amount to something. Like there's something special about Trudi, and we can't wait to see where she ends up. And it's been a very long up and down, all over the place, roundabout journey for me, but I think I've finally lived to that potential now, because I think that voice, it's like that Oprah Winfrey thing where she like always heard about how she was going to be amazing. Like she was amazing, she was always going to be good. My journey's been a little bit slower, but I think I've always had those words in my head that there is something about me. So let's make it amazing.
Yeah, I understand you so deeply right now, because I think I have always had that kind of belief, or voices, or whatever you may call it, right? I knew I'm not made for the audience.
Pull through all the shame and the guilt and all the other bad stuff. It's like it's in there. You just got to find it.
Yeah. And you talking about this this vision or this belief that you're always meant to be special is reminding me about your love for sparkles and all things unicorn.
Yeah.
So tell me about that. What's the deal?
All right. So sparkles. Like my retail career, I was like a estate manager for Diva, who's used to sell all the costume jewellery. And I was their store manager when they first launched in Chadstone and did a whole heap of store setup. So they asked me if I wanted to move over to Adelaide for 6 months and set up South Australia. Mm-hmm. So I moved over there, set up like 3 or 4 more new stores for them, cleaned up the mess that was there from the last area manager, and was sharing a house with a girl. So one of the rules with Diva as an area manager, estate manager, you're expected to buy a certain amount of jewellery. You can only wear current jewellery in the store, and you're expected to buy from all of the stores. So all of a sudden you're buying like 10 to 15 new pieces of jewellery a week. Oh. That's a lot of jewellery. Yeah. No, you got 50% off. Like, so you're spending like half your pay on jewellery, I swear. Anyway, that was the rules then. Mm-hmm. And I had all my jewellery spread out over my bed once, and my housemate came in and she's like, I've never seen so many sparkles in my entire life. And the name stuck. Even my mum calls me Sparkles now. She calls me her baby Sparkles.
Wow.
But then that stuck. But I've always loved pretty things. I used to write fantasy stories in primary school. I read a lot of, well, not so much now, but I used to read a lot of fantasy sci-fi books and that kind of stuff. So I've always been really girly. I've always loved unicorns. I used to have a horse when I was a teenager for about 3 years. So I love magic. Magic was my escape when I was bullied. I was bullied quite a lot in primary school, or isolated.
Yep.
And so magic's always been my thing. I love Rainbow Bright. I have a Rainbow Bright costume. I have a She-Ra costume. I just fantasy, just all that kind of stuff. It's just my thing. And I've given myself permission again to actually show that side of me and embrace it again.
Yeah.
Because 5 years with my ex just really ripped out a lot of the magic from my life. So I'm letting the magic come back. So like, here's one of my little unicorn pens. Somebody gave that to me as a gift.
Yeah, I mean, in your Facebook posts, you help me keep track of the latest trends in unicorns.
Oh yeah, I know. Everyone, there's so much. I'm still waiting for my unicorn portable charger to arrive.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to chase that up. I think that's been a little bit too long now.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
So.
Wow. I've been taking notes, and I think I've got more than 10 mantras out of Trudi. So I'm thinking what's more that I can ask. But I would really love to hear, if you want to share with us, one or a couple of your client success stories, like, where they were stuck and where you were able to get them. Mm-hmm. That'll be great for your listeners, just to know.
Okay, well, one of my recent clients, she booked in for 3 sessions, and within the first 2 weeks, she'd doubled her investment. So she made back her money and then made more, like another double, you know what I mean?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
So she did that. Golly, one with my e-course students, I've had quite a few of my students build their courses, and some of them are launched, some of them are launching this year. So that's really exciting that they've actually taken the knowledge and built it.
Yep.
One of my girls, she ran her course. So it's been a lot of course success this year.
Yeah.
And another girl that I've just started working with, our goal is to, by the end of the year, for her to be fully self-sufficient in her job, in her business, so she can quit her job.
Wow.
That's something that we're aiming for. So that's a bit exciting.
Yeah.
And I've had people who've, like, you know, one of my girls stopped self-harming, you know, took herself off her antidepressants. So that was a really good thing after doctors, psychologists, psychiatrists and counsellors couldn't help her. So that's that's from my old business, but that's something that I'm really, really proud I was able to support her to create in her life.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's a very, what can I say, massive contribution to that one individual's life. Yeah. All right. Okay, Trudy, I just loved the nuggets that you have spilled through, and I hope I'm going to be able to create a very pretty, sparkly poster representing this.
I'm sure it'll be beautiful.
Yeah.
My hair's coming down.
Yeah. So before we close, is there a last bit you want to leave us with?
I think one of the biggest things, I used to be really resistant to manifesting and, you know, all of this stuff. And I really love how science and the spiritual have, like, proved each other now.
Yep.
So I think one of the biggest things is just really be clear on your outcomes. Spend time in gratitude. Demonstrate grace when things work and when things don't work. And just take consistent action every day. Daily action is going to get you the result. It's like one of my mantras, like, my students are sick of hearing it. Show up every day, even if it's for an hour a day, at least do that. Just be consistent. Show the universe that you really want this.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah, I mean, I can just add on to that and keep going on and on, but I will I will let your words resonate.
The half an hour is up.
No, you know what? I haven't. I have, you know, the past two interviews, I have never timed them, and they went on for 40 minutes. But I think why we've been able to keep it so crisp and quick, because, of course, I think it comes from your experience. You're just bringing on, you know, like, focused points, bang on. So, yeah. I've just got all that I could from you right now. I think so.
Awesome. So, brilliant. Yeah. Happy to help.
Right. Yes. Beautiful. All right, Trudi. Thank you so much. And what I'm going to do is,
no worries.
I will get from you your details so I can put them, you know, when I release this interview, and people can access you, and I'll give you a copy of the same as well.
Awesome. Do you want me to just send that to you via Facebook?
Yeah, that'll be good.
Excellent.
All right. Thank you so much, you know, in advance, on behalf of all the people who are going to watch this interview. And thanks for doing this for me. And thanks for, you know, being such a champion. Thank you so much.
No worries. Take care. All the best with this.
Yes.
I'm excited to see how it unfolds for you.
Yes. Thank you.
Crikey. Alrighty.
Bye.